Madam W.K. Mutale-Nalumango joins us this morning on Friday's edition of Let the People Talk. Good morning, ma'am. It's good to see you. How are you?
Good morning, Luchi, and good morning, listeners. It's a pleasure indeed. It has been long, but I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you for the opportunity to use your fora to reach out to the Zambian people. It's always a pleasure.
No, it's very good to see you.
Thank you.
How since the last time I saw you, how have things been? I know you had a busy July. Obviously, lots of bills that you were trying to push through in the House. How's been? I guess I don't know if it's rest. Do you rest at all? Once Parliament dissolves, especially how busy it was, and now obviously as you walk into the campaign period proper, have you gotten some sort of rest?
Rest can be described in different ways. There is rest of mind, there is rest of body. Maybe the body hasn't been as busy, but the mind has been quite busy, almost riotous, because there are so many things that we are looking at to ensure that the country remains safe, that the country continues to develop, continues to move forward. The peace is maintained, the unity is maintained, and with that on mind, you can't say the mind also went to rest.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the number of bills that you were able to push through in the House, maybe including the last sitting, but also in the past 4 years?
Extremely. Yeah, extremely. We did what we could because the bills are not just for fun. It is as you look at policy and you have to align the law with policy. So the number of bills have a lot of, implication of the kind of policies that you are putting in place. So to allow any government to ensure policy is taken through, implemented, you have to have law in most cases. So we do that. A lot of laws are amendments to the existing laws. So I am happy that we did what we could. But remember, Parliament remains forever. That means we'll continue looking at the laws as Parliament and amend, repeal some very, very old laws that lost value. We had to repeal them, remove them on the statutes from the statutes of our country.
In hindsight, do you think that maybe in the future, and again in hindsight, that communication maybe could be handled a little better? That way you don't find yourself in a situation where you're going towards the very last week and there are maybe 73, 75 odd bills, and now everyone is suspicious of why you're trying to push through this many in such a short period of time. Do you think in hindsight that maybe communication can just be done a bit better?
That is obvious. There is no way I'll pretend here. We should do better next time. And at Parliament we insist. I sit in both ways. I am executive and in Parliament representing executive. I'm a parliamentarian. We keep saying we have to take bills on time because the processes should be followed through as much as possible. But we did follow through the processes. Of course, there are time constraint and you saw people working over time. So truly, this is one area that we will continue to work on as Parliament, because normally Parliament we are not as Parliament we are not the initiators of these laws that come there. It is the executive, and we will do better as executive.
The last time you were here, you said to me, and I was a bit surprised that you said it and I'll remind you of what you said, unfortunately. You said, and I'm sorry, I'm going to paraphrase you. But you said that you walked in and you didn't expect to find things the way that they were. Exactly. I don't know if you remember you saying that to me.
The extent of the damage of particularly the economy was a little, to me, it was a little more shocking because from outside you thought things are not well. But when you really sit there and you see the impact of the damage to the economy, was overwhelming.
I did a bad job
but
then.
But not insurmountable for us as a team.
I did a bad job then because I didn't interrogate how bad it was. So now let me interrogate. How bad was it?
Extremely bad. One, when you look at the government that Hakainde and the team took over, you realize just from the social point of view, maybe, I don't know whether I'll call it social. Yeah, it's the people interaction, people's lives. We will start right from the violence that you saw. It wasn't an easy thing to tackle. Our own cadres, UPND cadres, thought vengeance is mine. Electoral violence was just rampant. But the most shocking is that people can still talk economy today. We found a dead, devastating economy. The dead trap we were in, I'm calling it a trap. It is like you could move nowhere. And therefore, for you to plan and budget for things in the social sector, to plan for health, to plan for education, to plan for this was almost impossible. And believe you me, in the eyes of those that had been in government before, particularly the Patriotic Front, which has transformed into many pieces, they knew where exactly we were. And that was something. To me, that was something. But we thank God that God, in his own time, brought Hakainde Hichilema to lead the nation.
Yeah. So people get confused because you say that it was so bad, but they will say, and I heard somebody in one office the other day say, the government talks about how good the macroeconomic is, the fundamentals are, inflation is in single digits, foreign exchange is stable, there are more reserves than they were previously, and yet they will make the argument, they say, when we hear UPND say that things were bad, but on the flip side, bread was X amount versus what it is today. Milk was X amount versus what it is. Mini meal was X amount versus what it is today. In other words, it's more, things are more than they were at a time when you say things were bad. How do you reconcile that and explain to people your version of things were bad, but actually it was a bit more affordable than at a time when you could make the argument on your side that things are better?
Not an easy task, because without explaining those things, the things you are referring to, the inflation rate, we have to touch those issues, the growth of the economy, the GDP. We have to touch them for us to reach the person right there who is a Zambian and concerned. Yes, what I will say is, if this can help, is like I'm sitting in this chair and I feel safe because all I can see is the chair. What I don't know is the hole down there. That if any movement, I'll collapse into, what do you call these sinkholes? It's like I will go into a sinkhole. This is exactly what this economy was doing. We were living a very fake life. We were literally at the point of going into the sinkhole. Ukuivila, tuaikele pachipunda. Hear me, Loch, and the Zambians that are listening. Where the economy was, it was fake on top. But people can tell that even on top, we had started feeling the heat. Even on top. Even an ordinary Zambian today would understand when we say we had over-borrowed. Every Zambian would understand that when you borrow and you are failing to pay, where are you? And no normal father would say, Twali Kongola, that's the way they were. And that's the way they are thinking today, unfortunately. We don't care about the debt. We don't care about anything. Where I come from, they'll say, you eat once and you forget about tomorrow. That is not how you run as a family. That's not how you run as a nation. So what we found, Luchi, was at a point where, remember, that our colleagues in the previous government, they had even stopped the projects countrywide. Why did they stop? A project that you began. You start building a house. Wakula, atingata ifikile pamutenge yonse, lekeni bushayo teti nangufye forgive me nangufye olifye umuntu fye oshayire kusukulu kuti wakana okwishi batifu mu fyalu banapa. That was declared to the nation that there was no more money to complete their projects. What is the implication? Tomorrow you can't complete your house. Where are you going to stay? You are in a rented house probably. Tomorrow you start failing to pay. What are you thinking about? Mwafilwa, what are you thinking about? It means, Luchi, that the next moment you are outside. You are thrown in the court because you can't pay your rent. You haven't completed your house. The food at home. Because everybody will mind the house first. Now, if the house is not there, you can't say we'll continue to eat. We'll sit under the tree. I am just giving a picture of what the situation was like. We had overborrowed. We were in default. We could not afford the social service delivery. We couldn't. And it was a matter of time. But you see, Zambia is a Christian nation. And by God's own love, he decided that there was need for change. Because PF was not going to manage. Just if they had stayed another 1 year, maybe 6 months, with the default. Alen Kongole, when you can't even go to neighbors to borrow, that's where it was. Nobody was ready to lend to Zambia. Mwewe na Zambia, ipo tuafikile. Tuafikile pakusevana, tuafikile nge chalo, ndefa mule imona nge nganda. Husband, wife, and children. Think of Zambia as such and see where we were. Nothing. Baneba tetuba mikongweshe. Family yaka no kumikongwesha. Tamukwete napa kumokuboko. Ushe mwalai bati tulifye bwino. Ngoli mukashi wa mano. You go to continuously buy expensive clothes. You are a loving father? No. When we talk of these things like you spoke to, the macroeconomic stabilization means you care. The foundation must be strong. Chawa mana ukwatenganda, mwalia libidi. Pantu mulimunganda. Kuchilo kusebani na panse. So to us, the situation was very, very bad. And today, what have we done? Inkongole shiramwa kongwele mwe bantu bakwalesa. Shile batu walishiripila shonze. Efidia, we promised, even here, I think one day or, one interview, we talked of restructuring the debt. We had gone through HIPIC. That was over. Nobody was ready to just say, forgive Zambia. We had to sit with the new confidence after the change of government, which we had promised. People were ready to listen to the new government, and they listened. The lenders listened, and what came out is that we have restructured. And as Zambians we want to, limo chine at a profit has no honor in their own place or their own country, because ikuchita restructured debt ngatatwa chitire ngatwalingira mwe muchilongoma, we would have been dead, buried economically. But ukuyalanshanya naba tukongweseshe atifuna tukwata mapange ya kulipira wino tupeni kwa kashita. That's what it means to restructure. Tupeni kwa kashita lundeniko elo tuchefeshe niko nesha kulipira pamwaka. That's why we moved from paying, is it a 2.3, bad with figures, to paying only 2.8 or 6 to only 900. That means ishisha shala ifimule monat mule chitashani mwewa sangire nangu chimo.
But when do people start to see the benefits?
It is
because I think that's the biggest challenge that exists, to say, okay, fine, and again, this all comes back to communication in my eyes.
Exactly.
It comes to communication. That maybe the communication was done poorly at the time, and that's why I was surprised when you came and said we thought it would be a lot easier than it currently is.
Yeah.
But when do people start to see these benefits? Because they'll say it's been 5 years of no benefit
after
to us.
Luchi, 10 years of destruction. Colleagues who came in, the same things we are talking about, they found a very stable macroeconomic, situation in the country. They found the forex we talk about, the foreign exchange rate, very low, at 4 point something. That's where they found it. What else can I talk about? All those indicators, the GDP growth. Now, in 10 years of destruction, going down, the inflation itself skyrocketing. Inflation, I think, is something to really talk about. Because then in the ordinary mind, why, if inflation is low, why is the price high?
No, actually, the comments are inflation is single digits.
Yes.
And yet bread is 27, 25 kwacha. But when inflation was in double digits, it was much cheaper.
I spoke to that.
Yeah.
That's why I said that was fake.
Yeah.
That was very fake. When you are giving, look, for example, at fuel, the issue of fuel in any country is a driving factor in any production. In any production. Now, if the cost of this fuel is as high as it is today, at the origin, the original place where we are getting this, how then do you expect us to have lower than we do because of the same forex? You have to cushion this. And when you talk inflation, maybe I should say, I don't know. When I was giving this example many times in Parliament, and I used to abuse my son, Kafwaya, that Kafwaya, inflation must be described not in the manner that you think, that because the price has gone down. You have never been to a country 5 years ago where you found a price of a pin at 1 kwacha, maybe $1 or 1, and then you go 5 years, you go to the same shop and you think it will be 5. That is not the way I understand inflation. Inflation is when you start skyrocketing quickly, the prices going up. But this is where we are saying we found a situation that was bad. The inflation was at 24 or 23, somewhere there. We have brought it down into single digit. That means stability. Tekwebati mitengo ilapona, please. I don't think generally you would find a suit you were buying, at the 10 kwacha. For example, I'll tell you what it means. My salary when I started work many years ago was only 184 kwacha. Teachers there will acknowledge. 184 kwacha. Over time, no teacher can get 184. Not even any lowest you think of income earner. What does it mean? Prices will always go up. And when you stabilize, it's not about coming down. The effect of what we saw going up was the effect of the 10 years of destruction. You remember? We were saying, look at the kwacha losing power in their time. And when the kwacha loses power, then the prices go up. And now, when you are tackling it, what you need is to stabilize. That is what it means. Not to mitengo. I used to see an advert. I think I even referred to it one time. There was an advert some time back on TV. And I used to laugh because there were tires that were being sold, advertised. And somebody would say, mutengo. Do you just bring mutengo? There are many factors that affect this. But the inflation is an indicator that there is stability. You don't pull down. Generally, you don't pull down. The 184 kwacha was able to do the things that we did. But the things go up, the salaries go up. So for us, what we need is to continue to earn that which will balance.
Okay.
That.
There are many voters who are listening to you this morning. And there are some who are undecided. There are obviously some who've already decided what they want to do.
Yes.
But to those that are a bit undecided about where they place their votes to, and they will have experienced the past 4 years of the stability that you talk about on the macro levels, but they may not have experienced lower prices for whatever it is that they need. How do you guarantee, or how do you assure them that, listen, in the next 5 years, the next term, things will become a little better than they have been?
They will.
Yeah.
And that is very important. I think we have our manifesto. Looking at our manifesto, it should be able to give comfort to the Zambian people. We were tackling the issues that we found, the issues of the bad economy, which affected the lives of our people. And now we have tackled that. And this is where the pain comes from. We have tackled that. We have stabilized the things we are talking about. We have grown the GDP. I hope you know that, Lodge. GDP is so irritating to a person who may not understand what it is. But GDP means twakusha ichuma cha chalo okupitira mu ffe tuleshita neffe tuleshitisha. That means, for example, we come, I think, from 19 or so, 18, 19, and we have moved to 34. And it's our hope that by the end of this year, it may go to 40. That is growth, yakula economy. Ngani munganda nishimule mwamba ukula shitisha kwe fintu file mipela ko impia ukuchira pafe mwale kwata. That should have an effect. But the issue is, what are we doing? Ife tuwabombela po, inkongole tuwabombela po, elo, ili abantu bale chula, I'll speak to that. Ili abantu bale chula, bafuire bamono kwe bati uchushi, tabupangirwe nobuteko. What are we doing? That is why we are saying now tukula tuasangire 2.2 minus 2.8 ukukula kwa economy tuakula tuaimia kufumia panshi nomba tuafisha hapa kwa bati now it's time to build on. The next 5 years is growth. It's set for growth. And growth, that is when the people start feeling the effect of the work that has been done, the real effect of the work that has been done in the sphere of the economy. That's not my space normally, but this is ordinary thinking. Iyo tuwai miaka vili fintu tuwakula, ati tule kula nomba tule ya pamulu abantu bekale bwino. Umuntu wese uwalile. Aikona man. Abantu abafirirwe basanga economy isuma bayonaula baingisha na panshi ubona ushi ile lo babwile. Aikona man we Muzambian na uchula kalenga tulandefyo ngamwa bantu bale chula cost of living nomba tu afika pako bati nomba tutampe ukuchibondola ati natubwelele kunuma kwa farao. Yes, we didn't promise roses. We said there will be hard work. And this is one of our values, hard work. And the president has led in the hard work by negotiating with those lenders to forgive us and give us relief. And now when time comes, you want to come back, Mwebena Zambia, kwa Farao, to go again to people who don't mind about the reserves. People who don't, how can you trust a president who says, no tukulapenda fiempia, ifo tuwefu ayokulia. Mulie! Kwati mwaiche, tilete nife tufilie mailote mulando. Any mother keeps a little for tomorrow. Any mother keeps a little for tomorrow. We keep. So, this is growth time. And that's why you have heard, in growth of this economy, let me just put the 10-10, 5-3-3-1-1. I hope we all understand Mwebena Zambia. Ilio tulela andaya ama figures te yakulota mapange yesu. 10. The first 10 is mumataba. 10 million metric tons. Mwalaba tifyaisa shani ifyo kukwikala bwino. File pilibula ifinga tuleba tukalimya amataba okufika apa kirela ngati abantu abengi bakaba involved. One, ninchito twalira that farming is a business. Two, na agriculture sector inenishi ile kula ninchito futi jobs. Do you understand? We are targeting job growth in farming, in agriculture. That's why we are mechanizing. We want young people to also participate in farming. That's the future. And that's why we are not saying kasu. No, we are saying we mechanize. We already have put mechanization instruments or equipment in different districts so that people can participate. The other 10 is 10 megawatts of power. Is it 10 whatever?
10 megawatts.
It's mega.
Yeah, I'm curious about this 10,000 megawatts because you've had 5 years, but the figures are not anywhere close to 10,000.
Wow. This is not 10,000.
No, I understand that the intention was never 10,000 at the time. Yeah. But everyone will always make the argument to say we lived through 4 years or 3 years of load shedding. SMEs collapsed. Many SMEs collapsed because of load shedding. And here is the party that wasn't able to find solutions to get us.
Are you sure, Luchi? You say we completely didn't find solutions?
Or maybe the solutions came later than people might have wanted.
Life is like that.
Okay.
Life is like that. Let us face it in reality. Yeah. Yes, I may have to accept that may be a little slow. But the issue of power, I've argued before, the deficit is not a UPND issue.
But unfortunately, you have voted in to figure out the solution.
Exactly, and that's why we are figuring out. But like you asked me before, it is what was the past. You can't figure out, you can't find a solution today if you don't know what the problem was. The problem was lack of investment in the energy sector. This government came, and of course, when you are comfortable, sometimes you don't see the need. I think that we had that on our plate. We were a little slow. I have to admit that, because this power shortage has been known for a long time. What is it? Today, the same people who may want to blame us also had an opportunity. So can we leave them out? Don't listen to them. Ikonaman. Don't listen to those. They had an opportunity. Yes, this is our opportunity. And in our 5 years, we have had to increase generation capacity. Yes, I think the 2023-2024 drought was also a wake-up call. But remember, the deficit does not only come the deficit does not just appear. It's because of the things that are happening in the environment. We were hit by the drought, which depleted the water. We were hydro power dependent. That was a wake-up call. Before that, there were power deficit. There was power deficit, but not to that extent. But it made us wake up. Remember that the industry is growing under this government. That you have to know. The deficit is coming also from the growth of the industry in manufacturing, in mining. So sometimes the deficit should not be seen like it is shrinking. It is growing at the extent of the demand. So the demand has grown. And thank God for Haka in the Hichilema, because he has put policies in place that have made the industry grow. Economic whatever zones, they are there. Mines are growing, so the deficit is there. Hydropower cannot be fully dependent on because of the climate change. So what have we done? And even today, it's not an easy thing. Don't think we remained just there and then suddenly power was again enough. No, because there have been interventions. One of the interventions that will continue is to grow the generation base. This is why we are calling it energy mix, power mix. we have gone to ensure, to invite and attract investment in the solar. Solar energy is now stored. Solar energy is really covering us. I hope you know that there are many solar plants mwebe na Zambia. Tulekula ama solar. Ayo ayala afwa. Ayale afwa pali ino nshita. Ushita tuishi wetu kuchisamba kuli solar. 300
megawatts.
Yeah.
I wonder, in hindsight.
So we are resolving that. To say we are not, we are resolving that. The president last year, when it was, in that house where I used to sit, it was power.
It was power and exports, wasn't it? It was power and exports. Lots of arguments with people saying, and that's why I wanted to say to you that hindsight is always a wonderful thing, because you could sit here and think in hindsight that maybe it could have been communicated better, or maybe we could have, rather than continue to export, because that's the argument everyone has, that you're exporting rather than taking care of your own.
No. The export issue, I think, Luchi, maybe I am mistaken. There are obligations. Obligations. And even with those obligations, most of those signed under the Patriotic Front, like Namibia. Namibia was not taking into Namibia, the little that I know. It was taking to Katimamulilo, the border, which affects you and me. And that was signed before us. You don't just go. There are legal obligations in contracts. You don't just say, grab it back. And it was working for Zambia as well, because that border, caters for all of us. The issue of other areas, there was even a reduction. You see, so we have not been exporting power like abnormally. In fact, we reduced that. We are the ones that are importing power. Please, when power is transiting through our country, that's a different matter. Power transiting through our infrastructure is a different matter. I am aware that there are some companies that import power to send it through, some of it to our own. That's not our power. Some of it being taken to our mines, the mines in the country, but beyond that to other countries. That is not your power. This is a business thing. And even when they do that, even when they give that power, they pay for using Zambian ZESCO infrastructure. So let people not confuse that Zambia is exporting power. We are actually importing more. I can't, explain fully. We are importing more, for example, from Mozambique. We are importing more. It is an exchange. It's an issue of infrastructure, transmission. So Zambia has not been careless under this. I know you are saying explanation, maybe, but sometimes as Zambian,
no, and the reason I say it is because people say things like, in the past, again, I'm sorry, I'm going to make reference to the past, but in the past, when there was a crisis, an energy crisis, there are those that went and were able to import power from a ship. Why didn't this particular administration make plans like those? That way, at least you can sort of minimize the damage that load shedding did to a number of SMEs. Yeah.
And we did. It's not that we stopped exporting power from the ships on the oceans. We did. We never stopped. And we had to work through to increase the pricing. All that is not just like import. This is why you need reserves, because even when we were importing, it was not profitable. But we had to do that for us to cushion. But today, it is the same import that is also helping. We are the ones that are importing. It's not it's not magic, but the issue is to ensure that we don't go through the same crisis.
So will we go through the same crisis again? Will we have load shedding again?
No.
But everyone thinks, everyone is of the view that this is temporal, that post-elections, because they don't understand. this is the problem. And let me maybe I can explain it. Maybe I can explain it in a football analogy, which is what I understand more than anything else.
I hope I understand you in that field.
Take a team that is in one season they are facing relegation, right? They don't buy any player in the next season. Nothing changes. And all of a sudden they're number one. Everyone will start saying, but wait, how did this happen? How did this happen overnight? Yep. And that's the argument that people have to say. 1 minute there's massive load shedding and then the next there's nothing. How is this possible? How is it? Is it because there are elections along the way? And then do you think that might then change post-election? So maybe you can assure everybody to say, listen, nothing will change.
Thank you very much. No, this team may not have changed, but they think through problems as they come. And that's why we have thought through that this team will not continue to be hydropower dependent. One, we may have the drought again. And even if we don't, it is possible that, not possible, it is unlikely that the power generated from hydro will be sufficient. That is why I'm saying we have gone solar mix. Solar all over the place. I hope I could have a list. I think we hear solar plants in Kalomo. We hear solar plants in Chisamba increasing. Chisamba is increasing. They will soon be commissioning. That's not temporal. Are we going to destroy those solar plants? Solar plants in Imansa? Solar plants, is it Serenge? Somewhere there, solar plants all over. Are they going to be destroyed? Because this is what is increasing power. Please, not everything. Hakainde loves the people of Zambia. Hakainde cares for the people of Zambia. And this is why it's not about just elections, it's about the people of Zambia. The infrastructure that is being put in place in power is not going to be destroyed after elections. So in other words, it's a permanent situation. We also have the thermal. I think we have heard the core issue in Mamba expanding. I think I saw the signing with some company. I can't remember which country they came from. I saw it signing to come and build massive solar fields to provide power. Are these going to be destroyed after elections? Let us not put everything to election. That's why we are fake. That's why we lie to people. This government will not lie to its people. We will admit where there is a problem. You remember my president actually did admit on the issue of of energy. And I still remember, I am saying it with all my heart, that we had a gap. We slowed down a bit. But because we didn't have that need. A need makes you think and try to find a solution. The solution, Zambians, is permanent for Zambians.
So there will be, in other words,
after that, there will be no load shedding. Remember, we are saying we need 10 million megawatts.
10,000 megawatts.
10,000, sorry. Yeah.
Don't worry, I know. Numbers are not even my strong suits.
Oh,
so
even
don't worry. Yes.
Sorry. So it's yeah, because this may not even be a need for Zambia. We want to exceed the Zambian demand and be able to export. This is the vision. It's not just to stay. Because for us, this administration under an economist is that we should produce excess to sell and make our GDP even better.
For a long time, your administration has been saying that we want to reach 3 million metric tons of copper.
Yep.
We haven't actually managed to do this. I think the last number, even though I think it was one estimate was saying we hope we can reach 1 million. Again, that estimate was never reached. It was, I think, last figures we have is about 800,000 metric tons. I am curious, when you talk about us increasing copper production and getting to this 3 million, how do you do it? How do you do this at a time where people have these suspicions about mining companies? They have suspicions that mining companies are not paying what they should be paying in tax. Some people like to say tax holidays. Are you just able to just explain to people how you can achieve this 3 million metric tons that you speak about, considering all of the other things that are going on in the country?
One, the issue of power itself. Remember that it also had an effect. And it is still our hope, but that by the end of this year, we will hit the 1 million target. Target setting is important. You don't just go to pante. What is it that you want to achieve? Yes, we still remain with the 3 million target. We are increasing, the mines are growing, and we have to continuously ensure there is power. They are also helping in power generation because this work must go on. Now, when you say tax, I want to understand it in a very simple way. Anyway, just before that, I can tell you that, for example, FQM is the highest, do you use the highest, paying entity, contributor to the, on the tax part. A lot. They pay the highest in the entire country. So what are you talking about? They pay tax. But if you want to squeeze them into a regime where they are too scared and they go, do you know that you are reducing tax beyond the tax that they pay? The tax comes in many forms. That includes the tax that a worker pays. You are better off having a worker. I'm not saying they are free. As far as I'm concerned, the policies are very good to the Zambians. The agreement that was made, remade, is very good for Zambia to earn something, to get something from these mines. Not the way it was, where declaration was hindering how much they could declare to the country. The regime has changed in that score. But remember the workers. We are talking about jobs. These people who get jobs, do you realize that they also pay tax? They don't only pay tax, they have a livelihood. We care for those. That is why, colleagues, in trying to squeeze, they ended up, do you know FQM was winding up? I'm sure you are aware. Because it was all in court, it was all quarreling. And today, all those workers would have been redundant. Are you saying poverty levels would have been better, would have been cut? No. But those that are working, with the opening of new mines, like nickel mine, we have more workers, Zambians working. They are paying tax back to the treasury, but they also are looking after their families. They closed because of the abnormal policies or whatever wrong things. I may not use that all the time. Some mines failed. Remember KCM. Reopening that. Jobs secured. Come on. We have, there is a ripple effect, whether you like it or not. They are contractors. Those are jobs. You would rather keep them. They pay well, but they also keep our people. Mopani opened. Suppliers and everybody, the chain, the workers, all these were unemployed. So when a person who was in the previous regime talks of creating jobs, you collapse the jobs and you want to come back. Then what are you going to do? Then you run Mopani better, you run KCM better, you run FQM better, you run now the new mines. Is it Mungomba, Cobalt, things like that? Are you going to run them better? You failed. Zambians, mwilale ka ababufi baleisa. Ababufi bese wali bepe na kabili. Imwe bashimayini, inchi totashapwile. Imwe ba supplier, mwalekisa supply kuisa. Babwele lepo na lelo? Aikona man. Babwele lepo na lelo? Aikona man. Luchi, that should not be allowed. That's why natila batu aikele pachilongoma. Ubufi, inchi tola. Unless I'm lying. The people at FQM were ready to fold and go home and live on what? Come on. Love the people more. Love the people more. Maybe allow me to say this government is aware of the difficulties our ordinary Zambians face in the area of livelihood or living. When you talk of cost of living, we are aware. Why do you think we do things like social cash transfer, enhance it. I want to say this because it's like the government is so happy to see people suffering. No, there are interventions. Knowing the situation today, there are interventions that go to the Zambians. Your Zambian budget is extremely pro-poor. Ilolesha pabalanda mwe bantu. Ilolesha pabalanda. Teitibalolesha pali wonse, that is true. Maybe you are there, atinga ine. But never obenga na kwata, then you are a person of love. Be happy, because tomorrow it will be you. I just want to tell you some of the things that this government has done, particularly in the social protection. When we talk of the big thing, the free education, which single Zambian has not benefited out of free education? I was reading a story, maybe, I don't know when it came out, because I found it on a WhatsApp blog, that somebody met this lady who says she has 7 children, widowed, and their education was on her shoulder. It was a miserable thing to think of all the needs of school. Today, with free education, she doesn't have to choose which child goes to school and which one doesn't. Come on, that is a story. And you know what she said? I lost my husband. The burden was on me. Now Hakainde has become the father of these children. He's sending them to school. You may be old like me. You don't have a child going to school. But think of the other person. Think of the blind lady. Think of the widow whose children are also going to school. Tutonton kanyaba nenso. Tumone. Free education. Ini free money. Iyo wale fumia. Kubuteko. Ukwafwa. Ichalo chonse cha Zambia. Nangu achula shani. Nangu ni muka mfuilwa. Nangu chile matamona. Nangu fie alile mana. Tenda. Ngale sali mupela bana na ubala ya kuskulu. Ushiko ena tatule lande history. Ushiko ena pali ushishi we Mzambia. Nikona nshi ya Zambia ubala batatufishi wefi. This is money going to cushion the cost of living. Because now you can use it at home to buy a little vegetable, which you can grow also. Remember, kuli bursary increased, and also we have increased. This is for to cushion the cost of living. Ile lo nama miwa allowance. Ayi wa Kenya banensu. Sheta ba yishibe twali baba na abapina bafuma kwa kaputa. Nabo inonshita kuti bahali apa skulu mewa allowance tatule muna buteko buleli pira so buteko tabupange mpia shabuko ubu buteko ilelo bulela ndoko bati bula pela kala tuitati food security pack through the Ministry of Community Development mwali mfwa kwa bali abapina bembi abengi abashiteti babe muri FISIP baba kuli food security pack bala bapela ko nabo baleri mako tunono twakubati balia year in year out the numbers increased ilelo ububuteko. Let's look at FISIP. Elo ubona ushibwa FISIP. This is what this government has gone twalireka if yakutwala fertilizer elo bale yakana elo ama families yamwe nefie pantu bali mubuteko ni ba PF ilelo ni e-voucher cleaned up that. Ile lo bonse ivacha bale poka fertilizer. Bale poka mama poka fertilizer na papata. Ubuteko bwenu bulefu ya mutwalirire okuya kuntanshi. Ukulima ayamata batulela ndapo 10 million metric tons yakwisa na bafisi pwemo bali. Ubuteko ebulepela abantu atilimeni. Pantu limbia abantu nga bali mokulandikisha sana. FISIP elo tule amatawa yale onaika. Ababika mwempie shingi buteko bishokuti baleka yonaika matawa. They will do everything possible, and they will do everything possible to ensure that the people that have worked are paid. Remember, we have the social
paid on time.
Yeah,
because obviously that's I hate to say it, but
I know.
I'm sure you know that a lot of some of those that want to get into office, other than yourselves, will say, "Well, look at them; they weren't able to pay farmers on time."
But you see where the problem is. I did hear that that they are going to pay even before they, I don't know whether they will pay at planting or at harvest before delivery. That we want to call back Ushitefio. We were able to exaggerating. That is not possible. How are they going to pay? Which measure? Yes, last year in particular, there was a challenge because our production was exceeded the projected as at planting or as at planning, and we had a challenge. But we managed to pay. We produced more. Now we are planning better. It's my prayer that we are ready to pay when people deliver. The right time. It's not an easy task. But what we didn't want is to leave our farmers because this is the challenge. This is the challenge. People want to think of the consumption. At Chefia Nyubunga, Tabasaka farmer which that oil throughout the year. Umutengo ube determined na balabene kula kuinoko wilefuma na boba farmer mweba lima balefo obunga buchepyo mutengo nga imemu arashitcha palishinga. So ubunga bukulingana nefo finefo mulechita, even though government still comes through to help. You remember the ego milling. These are some of the things. Let us talk of the social cash transfer. Nimpia ndela ndempia shabuteko ishi ya kubantu lutu. Isho abantu bapoka ukwabula icho babombere bapoka pantu fyebena Zambia. Abwaba shikwete amaka yaku imwena. Ukusakama na abachoshi. Esho buchitefi. Ile lokupitira muri CDF. CDF is both economic and social. Because ile bomba. Ile naba nono kuma skills no resource centers ukuyasambirira takwabe chachira pamasambiriro. This is President Hakainde's priority. That's why you see free education. Bursary.
It's not perfect, is it? It's not perfect. For example, CDF hasn't been a perfect.
Not at all. Not at all. And I can't say that it has been perfect. There are many reasons why it has not been perfect, including sabotage from some members of parliament, from opposition, who may think abantu bala monati ubuteko bule bomba. That is sad, because when you are a leader, you don't look at who is providing the services, to who the service is being provided, and you do it. That is one reason. Another reason is capacity, and we are working on capacity by the local governments. So imperfection does not stop you from going ahead with a good thing. Imperfection is part of humanity, but we are working on that, like I've said, capacity by the local governments. But you know what this CDF has done in many councils? They already have what we call yellow machines, the earth-moving machines. So it is our prayer that feeder roads must be kept properly, as long as we give capacity to these people. These are some of the things. Of course, I can talk about the pension reforms. Kanapsa. People say, tatule eba tibalire limoshonse. Kuba pela empowerment. Rabalina amaka bachitakamo to prepare themselves for retirement. As they get the retirement package, babako wino. Because some mungabaisa apoka fe pension pamukumonishi na bana kana okunaka kuli afye and back to begging. So there are many things that we are doing. Cash for work. All these are cushioning the living conditions of our people, those that are not able. This is what we are doing, including support to the vulnerable and the community, disability, so many things. This is what a government does.
Okay, let me take a little break, if you allow me to. Let me take a little break. When we come back, we'll open up the phone lines, 226-841-0978-895. You can send a WhatsApp message as well if you want to, 0978-895-895. Back shortly.
Good company. Let's go. Great music. Phoenix FM. Phoenix FM. Tasty news just in. KFC is going all in for Zen. Don't change the station. You heard right. We are talking local flavors and slash prices on Streetwise meals. Like the legendary Streetwise one, now with shima and gravy for just 55 kwacha.
Yeah, bah! It's giving Zambian flavor meets finger-licking good. Laka!
Clock it. We're cooking. Get to KFC and get a taste. KFC, it's finger-licking good. T's and C's apply.
Maapona ma grapes pano, orange, ma banana, na shamba zonse zilipo, budari mugule. Business ya vuta mwe. Boy, away from business, ma vote ni manje. What you vote chino chaka? Ine ni the red boy. Ahiwe. Olo ni vote, olo sina vote, difference paribe. Business zankari ini mbegeza kono. Ifunika nipanga kondalama. So, sini vote yako ine. Iya ina iwe. Voti yako ina mpamvu. Ni one day chabe kuvota. Voti yako emozi chabe ipanga difference yukuru. Ngati suna vote, usira venango mpata ya chitukuko. Batuziva, vamene wakamba vapanga sense. Niza vota boy. Good. Chigwire boy. Don't just talk about the future. Cast your vote. Be heard. Be counted. Zambia votes 13th of August 2026. Count me in.
Zambia, are you ready to light up your fire? Join thousands of players enjoying the excitement of 22Bet Zambia. Register today and get a massive 300% welcome bonus on first deposit. Start with as little as 20 kwacha and receive up to 5,000 kwacha in bonuses. More value, more excitement, more opportunities to play and win. The fire starts here. Visit 22bets.co.zm today and start winning. T's and C's apply. Bet responsibly. 18 plus only. Zambia. It's time to light up your fire.
Phoenix FM. Phoenix FM. Phoenix FM.
It's 10:07. Welcome back to Let the People Talk. If you want to call us, 226-841 0978-895-895. That's the line you can use. You can also send a WhatsApp on 0978-895-895. Let me start with this. This is from somebody anonymous, Vice President. Good morning, Madam Vice President. My question is, why is the UPND government recruiting only health workers and teachers and leaving out the rest of the professions neglected? There are programs like forestry at the CBU, which no one has seen any job advert in decades, and many more other professions. This is from somebody anonymous who wants to know about other job opportunities other than just health workers and teachers.
Thank you, Luchi. That's a very important question. I wished I could answer it effectively.
Okay.
But the point is, the employment is in every sector where we see growth, where we see need, and that will continue. I don't see why, for example, the example given of forestry should not employ. I can't answer that. But also it depends on how few or how many. The issue of teachers, security wings, it's the numbers that are employed at the same time that makes people know about this situation. Otherwise, employment, how else are we running the forestry? Those are things I appreciate. I would love to engage to find out a little how this is being done. But there's no negligence. We want every growth sector to be empowered with human resource for us to do well.
All right. Let me pick up a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, sir?
Oh, I should wear this.
Yes, please wear your headphones. What's your name?
Yes. Good morning, Madam Vice President.
What's your name?
Yes. I don't know if you are getting me.
What's your name, sir? What's your name?
My name is Oscar Mkosa.
Okay, go ahead, Oscar.
Calling from within Lusaka.
Go ahead, Oscar.
I think, Madam Vice President, I just want to say this from the start that the major challenge we have in this country, apart from the problems that we are faced, is the caliber of the opposition political party leaders. Today we have a political party leader who is saying the reserves are useless. Minus him realizing that the same reserves can make the lives of the Zambian people better, because it is the same reserves that the government can use to stabilize the exchange rate. Once the exchange rate is stabilized, it means even the inflation will go down. In this case, the exchange rate has been stabilized, and the exchange rate right now is down up to from 23 under PF to 6.5% under this government. To me, when I hear such a leader who wants to ascend to power talking like that, I start to wonder what type of leader he is. Maybe that's why in Abalungu, so an appoint Kuwapanga our cabinet minister. He knew to say he has nothing to contribute, or he cannot advise or come up with a decision that can better the rights of the Zambian people.
All right.
Coming to what the UPND has done.
No. We'll just take one call. We'll try and be as brief as possible so we can allow as many people to come through. 226-841-0978-895-895. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, your moderator.
Good morning. What's your name?
President.
Yeah, go ahead.
Makalamba, for me, I think also as citizens, we should look at this. I will have a proposal. I think we'll start at this and not the government. Apart from the caliber of the opposition, even the caliber of people who vote for these leaders, I think we should have parallel elections where those who have not attained the club certificate should vote for what the council and empty. For a president, we need people who can understand how the economy is managed. How can you show an opposition leader? I have parallel 6.5 in case I'm 5 million. Is that the way the money works? Again, to where the free education, we can say how many people has the UPND government absorbed? 3 million. And we are saying 3 million junkies out of the street, because these are the children who are past street, when they pay a name footy, they come jumbo to Kurale to Paula, every junkies market seizures, every pangama tocha chamber kuria to Tumigodi. So, we are then, but we in opposition, leader that in our 45, in case 100 million CGF. Easy explaining your policy by UPN because it's a game changer, but I'll just increase it. But this was about to disappear. Mamba Coralies, it was almost nationalized. It's all paid in Congo, the party where Pampira Pona Imbinama solar project. When I saw finished to Refuaeshi, to Relandapo, Ama solar project all over. Fish talk on about mini allowance. Bamundubire mayori ya mwalimu mudanga mulebusha. Eva kene patana deliberate ifumeko. Wabuyako today saying he's going to bring it back and increase it. Okay. So please, right, citizens, let us understand our want to Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. 226-841-0978-895-895. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Mr. Ntele.
Yes, Mr. Ntele, go ahead.
Your Honor, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I wanted to find out from you, the Vice President. You know, you made a lot of promises about university and so on and so on. Up now, I don't know how many universities so far has been built. The issue of free education, madam, please. I don't know whether you have seen if you in your government you are taking these students to government institutions. Because look, a child is just going there for three, most maybe 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and they are saying free education. Look at some textbooks.
Mr. Ntele, which schools are these where people are going for 5 minutes?
Like here in Rilanda, like my child they go there by 10 hours, by 11 hours is back.
What school is this? What school? Name the school.
Rilanda.
Okay, the school is called Rilanda. Yes. The school is the name of the school is Rilanda.
Yes.
Okay. Rilanda secondary, Rilanda what? Because we have to follow up.
It to be called Rilanda basic.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So the issue of, look, me I'm very happy about free education, but look at some hours which our children are being taught. It's very few minutes. Now my question is this for the Vice President. Have you experienced that in your government, these people, are they, ministers, are they taking these students to government institutions? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ntele. Do you want to respond to those three? I mean, two of them are very similar, and then the one from Mr. Ntele, and then I'll pick up another batch of phone calls.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We started with Mr. Oscar Mukosa. I would just say thank you very much. He talks of the caliber. of the opposition leaders. I can tell you, Zambians, that the observation of Mr. Mukosa are very, very important. I believe that they are populists. That's the way. Abafwaya feba umechimwela abantu babakonka ukwabula echo balelaya bushekwena kutuwalaya ngefifyo balela ndapo ifya kwisalya ifyo musunga. I kona man tefyo chifwiri okubanda emitotela bamukosa twalilileni ukweba abantu bantu nga twasala ababa kutila na balungu balikeni okuba sonta ngefyo mulandiro kutila babe mu cabinet nishichara bashani tubwelele kunuma bena bafirwa chabana lowa chikabana wesi abalefu kwisa balira pokulya bakafolesha abantu bakalapera na mashani ma excavator nakuli bana market kumo awe chilela nga fyati abantu tabeshibi balela ndalanda fye mwe bantu bakwalesa tatubapatile na tubatemwa. We are a government of love and people of Zambia love each other, but we will choose not based on wrong things. We will choose those who are telling us if ile bomba if balela nda kuitemwa fye na balelo fetu tukaliepo tukayikala po tukaliepo eba tukaliepo aba. It's not that they have a message for the people. It's not that they have a plan for the people. Tabakweti amapange nangu yamu. Mule umfuyikishelo balela ndamwebe na Zambia. Kutuwalaya abantu if shiri sustainable. If shakaena ngukumo. If you winga vika muli manifesto. Awe. Ababambisha chufingisheshna atiba kumbela.
Kumbela, yes.
Kumbela. Yeah. Thank you Kumbela. Na mulanda sana tata. Nabo chimo chine. Aba lubuli bakabwele ai kona man bale bepa abantu tubakesa lundako CDF yali pali 1.6 elo bakesa lundako shani oko tabasaka mene investment bakesa lunda shani bakalafunya kuisempia na mulande fingi bale fwaya fye ukusabayila fye okubepa abantu kabashane kwechilimba lelo pakusala nabeshi becho bale fwaya ndela ndapano echibembe chingana landa kutila ushitasha mwana wandoshi pantu umuntu tetesha lande pali free education ati tukalesha elo mwaiba ati tuleya nishtish tule fwaya. I really thank Kumbela. I also want to thank you Bantele. Ukawati mwalela ndapama university. Pushemwe utamule muna improvement muna university. In fact wa president watile ngatwa wela tukesa bombela po ukutila china province ikakwate university. Amapange ya uyumwa umeolesa tupela haka inde hichilema tufuile tule alolesha. Sorry to change your word. I'm still able to speak English. But sometimes Bemba is also good because there are many people that are able to understand. But the fact is, at my university, we have improved in the universities to start with. A lot of improvement. Bantele, ushemu alishibe atinam basari alichepele kwa numbers. Bantele ushemu alishibe ukutila abana muma university tabale bapela miwa allowance so kutiba ikala shana no wanda bana beso kwambo kwa naikanga bakashana icho naike onaike bantele tete mutotelele sapali icho ukwebati abana bale folako kama kubuteko. This is how government money works. Bantele mwalanda ti abantu free education. Bushebantele tamwishi byokutila free education taifeyeka. Yes, school feeding yaliko kale lelo tayakumene Zambia yonse ile free education ili ya company na school feeding na tuishi bobusuma bwa bamuli school feeding abana tabalelo ofwa ku maskulu nomba mwebo okukulilanda ndekonka Bantele ndeya ipusha ichingalenga ba lilanda basic iya kale basic nshishibe I'm sure it's a secondary school abana bale at 5 minutes bayafe babwela. And yet Bantele mukuwamya ififi amasambililo we have employed teachers. Do you know that Lusaka is overemployed by teachers? Do you know that every school has more than enough teachers? Bambitu abasungira pantu ifyupo filimuno tatufa yokutobe ifyupo nombe chinga lengo kukulila nangu mwachilotela pofya tumulumbule pweshinalimo pantu ba head teacher wakulilanda linga kwate namba ngana chibatumina atilandeni nomba nde chita follow up after that.
Okay.
Pantu ba misabusha pano atama hours fair no awe I think if fiena awe bantele mumasukulu n'abaana balelya Zambia yonse mumasukulu amadesks twalisunga mumasukulu twalichita employ ba teacher over 40,000 45,000 bantu kwali baba fused in mumasukulu amadesk twalibika amasukulu tulekulilako bantele you have touched the wrong one abena Zambia nishi umutima wenu teusuma saka maneni abanenu ichalo nachiwama muri education yena education muyikatanako tafya bala fichitikapo buteko nshi ubwangishe po ba teacher over 40,000 mu myaka 5 buteko nshi watwele ama desk kuba nabale kalapanshi buteko nshi pantu bantele nshile munati muri bayiche sana limbi kutita mwishibe buteko nshi ubwale kula ma clinic muskulu kukula proper clinic naba health worker pako bataba nabale sungwa bwino buteko nshi awe limonangu kulanda let us speak to the facts mwalachita enter ba brother Ntele mwalachita enter ilabachilanda po ba Oscar yakwe bati ama leaders the caliber bantele na totela mwachipushe fi mwampela ko chance ya kutunondolole ala takuli chili better president hakandi alivika mano kuli free education pantu is the greatest equalizer no mupina no chinondo Mutale-Nalumango na mwana banani abo na owini afida ya kusukulu pantu kuntanshi tachilembwa patu yuwali mwana wa mpofu.
Okay, before I go back to phone lines, let me read you 3 text messages and I'll take 3 phone calls. This is from somebody, no name here. It says, why, just ask the Vice President why the party and the government spokespersons over the past 4 years failed to communicate effectively with citizens on the realities of the debt restructuring process. Why were Zambians not adequately informed from the outset that during debt restructuring there would be need for citizens to tighten their belts and endure short-term economic hardships as part of the broader recovery process? I don't know if you
yeah. I hope I've gotten that there was no effective communication on the debt restructuring, and he speaks to the spokespersons of the party and both party and government to explain the realities of the debt restructuring. Yeah, maybe we failed because it is the people that we target. And if this man is one of those, and you asked that question yourself in your own way, that I think we haven't fully communicated, we apologize for that. We will do better. But believe you me, whether you are my sister, my brother, my daughter, my son, it is true that debt restructuring is not the one that has brought in fact, debt restructuring has brought relief. We could be worse. I'm not saying we are good. I'm not saying we are good. I am saying we could have been worse if we hadn't restructured.
Okay.
That is what it means.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Someone else who wants to remain anonymous asks, I would like the Vice President to assure us that the UPND will not remove term limits once they're given a fresh mandate in August.
I am a Democrat myself, so I can only speak for myself and the Constitution. We are law-abiding, and the term limits should be as it is. I remember in Parliament, it came up, they were even booing me when they were saying, no, you want the constitutional amendment to bring 7-year term. I said, no, we haven't sat to plan that. UPND has not sat either at cabinet or national management committee of the party to say we will remove the term limit. That has not been an issue of discussion as I sit here.
Okay. 226-841 0978-895-895 if you want to get in touch with us. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, please, Luchi.
What's your name, sir?
Good morning, Mayo.
Good morning, Tata.
Natota Liemba Evans.
Liemba
Evans. Mayo, Pedwe.
Thank you.
Ikialo kinu cha Zambia. I'm telling you about it to Alamukuruala PF. This country, Chaleya Mukwabana. But Zambians stood very strong and said, no, to this direction. But even using their brothers of the church, saying Zambia said no to this division. And we are not going to go back tonight. We are very geared. We are ready. Underground, we are waiting now. We are there to defend this country again. As people or citizens of this country, we are going to allow that. Mutala, it's very important. Bank of Zambia, this is where the country will have some strength to be seen that yes, the country which has got money. Kalimwamu Tongola. We are not going to allow that.
Okay. All right.
I'm a desk man, I'm a clinic, we have seen what the is doing. We have you as the vice president and the running mate.
Yeah. Mr. Evans.
How?
Mr. Evans, again, I'd like people to be as brief as possible. Ask your question. Let's see if we can get as many people on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. You're live on radio. What's your name, sir?
This is Mlenga. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm all right. Go ahead. You're live on radio. Go ahead. What's your question?
The voice of Apollo, you're not okay. Yeah. Because if you're especially for agriculture. Agriculture, Mamma, nobody safe from fish abantu insoni. Barera ndati fertilizer, batera pambare, batera makap. Nomba makap. Ndabe pusha nangwero nari kuchirinda. Prawine constituents matpere anyowani kuchirinda nareve. Even kumpanda kwa chifu makasa. Same question. Imo mareve pa abantu kwebati bare mperera ama fertilizer mamedana makap. Nomba bumper harvest yafuma kuisa. Mutuwebe koko afuma bumper harvest. Olwazine mule danda ulano free education chani. Munjebe kota imwenangu mwali wina mwali twala abana bene kunanikani makufyalo masukulu aya pamulo. Nomba takuli bululu wenu uli wonsi nangu mwipwa nangu mwachi wenu. Ule free education. Olo watch the benefit kuli social cash transfer. Olo takuli bululu nangu umo watch the benefit kuli napsa. Pasho withdraw. Yonse ayama benefit ni shimweta mwaba munangu line kutontonkanya kwa tibuloshi. Tefyo mulingiri okutontonkanya ifi. Ifi vyonse vichikiriwa busteko imwe. Tapali efyo mwachikiremo benefit ifi vyonse. Olo ine ya ishire cash for work. Abantu wale bomba konse kumishi because na ile isanga na kuchirinda kwa kalera kwa tomo konse kwa chifu mubanga. Konse kwa chifu makasa. Konse kuruwa pula kwa fuma batata kwa chifu munkanta kwa wambwa. Social cash transfer dali isanga. Cash for work na lisangi. Nomba imweni ishtamachitako benefiti. Mwikale fionse fye imwe vya leto ubuteko. Aka inde ichile my 5 years. Tapali efyo mwachitako benefiti efyo aletele fionse obusuma.
Okay. All right. Thank Mr. Mlenga, voice of Lapula, I believe. Thank you very much for coming through. Do you wanna respond? And then I'll pick up another batch.
I really don't even say respond because they have spoken so clearly. That is starting with what was it? Lubemba
Evans.
Lubemba. Mwashibukeni mkwai. Thank you so much. We mwana wa kuilamba. Antuni mfwa. It was coming out more like Lamba language. Thank you for that beautiful language. You have said so many wonderful things. Tabaka Bwele, I agree with you. Mwebe na Zambia. Bushe mulefu ayabaka Bwele. Ati ngwena ni ngwena. Mulefu ayabaka Bwele. Aikona man. If you are na wile fia fula. Nde totela that you are working. That's what you have said. Don't fear. Yes, some people can just hear music. You don't vote for music. You don't vote for where there is nothing. Abalefu ayokwisa onaula reserve. Aikona man. Weke seria impiesho tuwapanga. ishapanga haka inde aikona mani tabamona chine namulanda makliniki amadeski nechimuse wechikulu ichi chine chile bombero wapo. What I can say about this road, you will remember that before our colleagues wanted to do the same road, but you know the cost? It was total almost 1.8, all things put together. I could be wrong on figure, but not so much. But coming ukwisa chefya efyo vale ive mpifi kwena omusaba umawine kunu mana turandati mitengo ila ya pamulu nomba bene yabo iyo vale bomba ngobuteko, instead of the cost being high because of time cost of money abeni abachita ngamni economics ngani actuarial whatever, time cost of money eyo mutengo tulelanda po unina gradually whether you like it or not nshitanga yapite fintu file fyanina bena fyalikila bena we were going to spend, if I'm wrong please we can correct it, but about 1.8 billion
million, $1.8 million I believe.
No, it was billion, yeah, and we bring it to 600 million. So where was this other money supposed to go to do this road? I just thought because they had mentioned this road. Buka bwalala. Pantu abo tule bomba nabo, bantu babo bene nabo nga bali bombere nabo. Chile pili bula shani. It shows balubemba na mulanda. Elo mwalanda mpaku imika ba umebeka beka. Nekeri nande kopa nono. No wonder hii constitution uyuhaka inde mwebana mayo alimite mwa. Ukweva ati mu parliament nombo okulingana nefunde lipya, there will be 20 women automatic going in through presidential vote. I'm not saying through haka in the vote, hear me, I'm saying through presidential vote. Imwanga na muhimika president aka kwateko nangu 20% na iliai inefye 20% ya bana mayo nao aka ingishamo, just to allow women to go in. Nomba abana bandi ababeminine babiri abana bandi beka babiri elo bamukolo bangoshe ngoli mubemba ngumfwa bangoshe tabeka la chulu chimo na misoka kofie. Power is not easy to handle. 2 cobras in one anthill. I thank God for them.
Okay.
We shall no shira asukanefi tekani baluapula. They have also voice of Luapula. Bamulenga mwashibukeni na totela. Echo ndeve latite tulande na sana. Pantu na mulanda. Pali bantu wale bati muletu pela tu fertilizer. That's a very good thing. You are giving us fertilizer in containers, buckets. But it's bumper harvest. Is that not a contradiction? Bumper harvest. And now we are projecting even more bumper harvest because of the good policy, because of the proper targeting of beneficiaries. But what has shocked Bamulenga, and also I agree with him 100%, is that a person can complain. Have you not benefited out of, he brought out of the issues that the president has done. The issues, remember, I mentioned about, where government is spending money directly on individuals in Zambia. Have you not benefited? At least maybe your child or your nephew has been recruited as a doctor in the Ministry of Health, as a nurse in the Ministry of Health, as a soldier in Zambia Army, as a soldier in National Service, as a soldier in ZAF, as a policeman in the Ministry of Home Affairs, maybe as an immigration officer. Come on. Or even correctional. Under correction services. You can sit in Zambia kwa nafi and say net bali chona muna po chisuma. Chinshi mwa mwene mubuteko. Echo ba chirandira ti aba bachitireko na appoint. Ewe mwa laisa sala. Aba afiliro ku meeting a criteria of a government that was not focused, a government that did all the wrong. Ile mwe mwanyimia. Awe nangukupata. Elwefi akulanda tuyumutundu tawakateke. Kabatonga tawakateke. We should never use such divisive words. Never. Never. We are one Zambia. one nation. One nation, one people. It doesn't matter. Kaunda used to say man west, man east, now man south, man north is man. And God has put us here. And he knows exactly whom he has prepared to rule our country. He doesn't depend on your region. He doesn't depend on your tribe. He doesn't depend. Just listen and do good things. Plan better for Zambia. To appeal the emotions of people. And I say this with my free conscience. That is evil. That is evil. Ukubonfya abantu ati mumuli mutundu nangu iwe niwe mutundu wandi bonse tuli batundu ba Zambia.
Okay. There's a question here from somebody. This is a very tourist-centric question, but it is in your manifesto. The UPND manifesto commits to an open, facilitative, and investor-friendly visa and entry policy. What specific changes to the visa regime are being considered, and what is the expected impact on tourist arrivals and investment? Secondly, for persons with disabilities, the manifesto commits to removing barriers and enforcing accessibility. What specific enforcement mechanisms will be put in place, and what sanctions will apply to public and private entities, I guess such as ourselves, that fail to comply with accessibility standards? That's for people that are living with disabilities.
Yeah, you are reading too fast.
Okay, I'll go through it again if you want. Let me read slowly.
Tourism.
Tourism. So the question on tourism says, what specific changes to the visa regime are being considered, and what is the expected impact on tourist arrivals and investment? Then the second part of the question is on persons with disabilities. He or she says that the manifesto commits to removing barriers and enforcing accessibilities. He or she asks, what specific enforcement mechanisms will be put in place, and will there be any sanctions to those that fail to meet those standards? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tourism. Yeah, thank you. In fact, there has been a lot of changes in the visa. I think you need to look at the list of many countries that have been exempted from visa requirement. And this, I would just say, yes, it's friendly to many nations. If any nation is not there, maybe it is a private question. But the impact of this is already seen. We have moved from where, can I remember the figures of the tourist arrivals then, the tourist arrivals now, and I think it's over 2 million now arrivals. And we are targeting 5. That's the other 5 in the equation of 10, 10, 5, 3, 3, 1, 1. 5 million tourists. That's the target. So it helps the economy. It brings in income from this. So it is deliberate, because you realize that the visa, just the visa, which can be a hindrance to people, remember, it's not just in the cost, it's also in the how cumbersome sometimes it can be. Removing that, it's a barrier in itself, has released this space that so many people are coming. Not just about the visa, but remember we have tourism yapa local, encouraging local tourism. So this is an income earner for the country. We are targeting 5 million in the next 5 years, so that the visitors can increase. That is the beauty of the changes that have been made in the visa field. Disability, the barriers, and that we work on that. That is within our manifesto. Now you are asking about the enforcement in case certain institutions or places, whatever, in terms of probably, I believe, in terms of recruitment. Because this is very important, that we consider disability, not inability. That is what this government thinks. Disability is not inability. And therefore, we are saying everybody must be considered with the qualifications that they have. Now, I think the concern of the questioner is enforcement. What if they fail? What happens? What mechanisms are in place? Enforcement. I think that's a concern. We have to look at that. I can't tell you whether we have truly looked at this part. Maybe I didn't pay attention, but it's such an important question. I will have to look back into our documents and see how we are going to enforce this. Because indeed, some people are still lost because they think disability is inability, and also accessibility becomes a challenge. Like, how do people get into high-story buildings? They cannot be excluded. Basically, your government is a government that believes in inclusivity, not in exclusions. So this enforcement, particularly of the failure to abide by removing barriers, I will have to follow up exactly what enforcement and if failure, what sanction will there be?
Okay.
I will follow up that. I don't have the answer on my hands.
There's also a question about corruption. There is a concern that, first of all, that there was a thought.
Is it you asking?
No. Sorry. Let me rephrase this. There's a question via the text message from somebody. It's Victor from within Osaka, who says, one of the reasons I voted for the current president, is that I thought he was going to be tough on corruption. My question is there corruption in UPND? If the answer is yes, could you name a few that have been prosecuted? This is Victor from within Osaka. Yeah.
It is, my mind may not be thinking of the actual individuals.
Maybe
but
can I broaden the question for you?
Yes.
I think
I understand.
I think the question seems to, or maybe a lot of people seem to think that when it comes to fighting corruption, there has been a push towards fighting past corruption, but they haven't really seen the same sort of appetite, to fighting current corruption.
I hear you.
Particularly from members, there is a belief that there is no way that members of the administration can't be corrupt. So why is it that there hasn't been that many cases of corruption?
You want many or cases?
Or cases.
Because many becomes even a little more difficult.
I forget that I'm talking to a teacher.
Oh, sorry.
Former teacher.
I'm still a teacher. Yes, dear. Yeah. The fight against corruption is part of what we believe. Hakainde has declared zero tolerance to corruption. Sitting here as a human being, if it is just a general talk to say there is no corruption, I would love to say that. But it is possible that corruption is happening. The evidence, one, we have said, just on the way you expanded the question, that the fight against corruption is not targeted on the past. So it is past, present, and even the future. We should all get the attitude of intolerance to corruption. But my mind has lost me. I don't know exactly. I think some people have been, prosecuted under this. But my mind is sorry. Forgive me, listeners. I can't think of one who has been in this administration and has been prosecuted.
Okay.
Saying this, let me say this. It doesn't mean that there is a policy or a near hidden policy of sacred cows. No. But the issue is corruption is normally should be a concern of every Zambian. So how many of you reported? You who wrote this, and you have evidence? Because particularly in my political field, people just wake up and say, Nalumango is corrupt. What have you? No evidence. Report. People will be questioned. And if found innocent, they will not be taken to court. But if they are found with a question to answer, they will be taken to court. So there are many cases, actually, because I was tackling this in Parliament. I don't know why it escaped my mind for now. There are many people that have been questioned under corruption. And after questioning, some appear in court, whether it's past or present. Some don't, because the allegations may have no evidence, no credibility to go and waste the court's time. But those that are found with some questions to answer, they are surrendered to the courts of law.
Okay. All right. Excellent. 226-410-978-895-895. Hello. Good morning.
Richie, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, sir?
You are talking to Brother Namanda. How are you there?
Go ahead, Brother Namanda. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm Vice President Shivukeni.
Shivukeni wa Namanda. Na myufako dalero.
Emu kwa imayo. Nayo soba tutira ati mukulambulu. Bayangena amaka. Ababa opposition nabe mapasweka. Bale abale bepa abantu bale umalulu.
Bati yo funga twaisa tukabula chi Black Mountain tukapera majera bo. Chine balera ndali chi Black Mountain balu PND alikuisha. Ngati chika ucho bakapera amayusi chikafuma pi. Vai mapa soko kuti shinda la mesho mukoronganike na bahaka indio 6.5 billion in the reserve. Batira funga twaisa ikabanisa ngwapo. Tukapera amayusi bakanene. Tuyafine banu ine shire bakongwere bakatushe mu bwashi afema Zambian. Waebo kuti nebo nkapera magreza kuli marketia. Uleshisha tomato na chikanda. Bakamupere sikaveta. Nomba sikaveta yando. Kuishira tama opposition tukwete ni ba joka tabakwete solution for this country yo. Vai mapa sweka barati yo. Kwa usha govern like ECO governed. Balungu nifinshi batekere. Imubaile miteba amagwe kulia kushuwa ngandi bare peteka ngachoni bare peteka. Baponyana chopa kumabwe. Apataka mugodi kurusa koko bare libura abantu ngani bakapoli. Mwaibukisha bashoni tembo bakite mukairo bare batutula kwatika twishi. Efe barefu abese mukuteka bare tuma. Iwa mafisa karwa corruption was the order of the day. Inga amagasi ngiyare bare tasinga abantu ubushiku. Efe barefu abakese tuteka. Yari amaseti tware ufa kumatero kuri randa. Efe barefu abakese teka. Yari tware ufa muri varungu. Iyo icho chena chakani. Waka inde watira abana baye kushukuru mahala ichabipa ponichinshi 2.1 people they are in classes baeke chibatira we mulimi ituze mu bulimi bala batere ntangano mufundu
Brother Namanda, thank you very much, Brother Namanda. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Mayo mwasubuka sani Nalumango. Na shubuka fyomtende mkwae.
What's your name?
Mulelanda la King Fred kuma kuma ditoa di. Mulomu inoma ditoa domo mwikara mayo mfuma nebagi.
Okay.
Inechile mpa kusako mayo. Muloma ditoa tuikala tatua kwa ene government interest tatua tuikala kwa tatua kwa tatua vice president. Aba nabara kuma skuru kumbiwenda 6 km. Nomba na kwa tasha interest ya kumvotela. Makliniki tatua kwa tamwa bapua road network nomba na kwa tashani interest ya kumuvoke sapo abo bapiwe fumulanda obusuku vontate abo balefu abo vese kwa geni vese mukustenji ose bapiwe butamwa bana bena mwahalansi na bachavinga na bama usampatamwa na bena mwahalansi president mundu vire teka bolala bantunga nika bolala ngali kwa kabolala abena stetira mwali kaka bakare sore geni kulanda pali bamundu vira tini balesa mukustensi alesa mukukafula bena Zambia pantu mwalitula wese abufi ati fertilizer 200 fertilizer pan 1 ubunga 50 kwa chapo ubunga 270 nachira mpamule kwa kulanda.
Okay. Well, King Fred, thank you very much. Do you want to respond? Maybe King Fred, maybe you can start because the other one wasn't necessarily needed a response.
Yeah. The other one I think is self-explanatory. He was just repeating the things that have been done and the fact that we cannot bring back those. Ukumibwesha kwena King Fred tatuamibweshe aikona man mwaisa mumadido nshishibena mumadido uko mwikalira kumadido ko na ine winenjikala mumadido wati nambefye mulelanda I think chile umfuikana issue ili enukwe bati imwe efili atulanda ba King Frey atu ukupatile takwe bati busumabo so imwe from what you are saying you have failed to see anything good. Don't talk about mundubile na ipelesha ukuleta ukubanga kateka namba kututwakana shani ukulanda papali yena. I don't think anybody, not me, I haven't said Mundubile is a thief. If he's a thief, takwa baba King Frey mulandu taubola mwamfwa mulandu taubola. But that's not the issue here. For me, I've talked of capacity. I think I love Mundubile more than you do, King Frey. Very much. But I'm talking of capacity. Are we going to surrender our nation because Mundubile is my son? He is. Maybe you don't know that. Maybe you don't know that. This is not a joke, a political joke. But what we are saying is, what this government is doing is very, very good. So many things have been done. If you have issues about Madido, you better come and talk to me, about Madido. But even in Madido, things are happening. Things we have spoken about are happening in Madido. But because you have chosen to be blind, tulelanda pabuyanta nshiwa chalo n'okusakama n'abantu n'okusta deliver to the people. This is our promise. Imwe mwaya bushena mumfana chilanda popali the time cost. Is it time cost of money? Umutengo tawikalilira pamopene. Mulenje batiro bayishire mwalira bati umutengo wabunga walifote kwachi. Ilo bayingire bapi. Mulela. So if you want to judge by Kingfrey, nishimo haluba. Umutengo we na ulaya pamulu. Nomboku ya kwa pamulu. Kulia tu donsa tuibutukisha sana. Bapi efu basangire palifote. Baishire sanga times. How many times? Ba Kingfrey. If you mulelanda, muneni. If you bubuteko buli. Ukulolesha kuli democracy. If you mwale tupuma na mumfa bantu abachira landa pa. Mwale puma ba opposition. Inani ule puma mundu bile. Ile mule mfano kufuatia marali. Te freedom hiyo. Tamule ifo ya freedom ba Kingfrey. Iyo haka indi alepela ku bantu. Insambu bale ilandira fye babepa na bantu ama graders. Ati tukesa chita governing ngefi ale chita governing ba late. Ebo batamfishepo. Nombe echo mwa batamfishe chinshi. Echo bakese mukubwekeshapo corruption ikese wekerapo. Whether it's Chilangwa, whether it is who, we are talking collective here as an entity. Echo mlefu atukese wekeshapo. Ikona man. Tafia chitike. Ba Kingfrey teke nifyo mutima. Temweni abaina Zambia na mundu bile wene tule mutemwa nomba twakana okumupela ubuteko pantu ubuteko tetibuise bule tweba pama mariketi ukubapela magreda na excavator tatule fwayo ubuteko bwa laisalanda ukupela maini iya muntu ali yaba ku muntu kwisapoka chilelanga grabbing of things. Now it's a dangerous statement to make for any leader to point out a mine that belongs, given, probably under them, if not MMD, not given by this government. Check your records. Then you start declaring it to Kefamipele mine or Nichi Black Mountain. Icha Muntu. Is that lawful? Is that within the law? And Mundubila is a lawyer. You don't do that. So is that the promise you want, Kingfrey? Na tuweko serious mwewe na Zambia alahaka inde alimitemwa.
There was a
alimisakabana elio kabiri alafu ayoku mibombera yala bombe ishita yonse echimwa mwena twafumye chalo munkongole mubusha mwa farao eko mulefu ya mtu tuwekesha na kabiri ikona man.
You were Harvey sends a text. You were trying to figure out people that have been persecuted. Harvey says Kelvin Sampa, UPND member and former Kasama MP, is behind bars. He also mentions Enisoka UPND DC, who's also behind bars. This is from Ali Nafe. Ali Nafe is from Chiwempala. What immediate plans do you have for us small-scale miners, Jerabos, here in Chiwempala, which you as the government see to be a win-win situation between you as government and us as citizens of this area who have known nothing but small-scale mining in Chiwempala?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ali Nafe.
Yeah.
I think I would differentiate Kelvin Sampa's case, if my mind serves me right. Yes, there was corruption, but outside government. I think it was an issue of individuals. But Isoka, DC. Thank you for bringing that. Of course, I couldn't think of this. This is who we are. Prosecuted, convicted. It was over maize. So, there is no sacred cow. So thank you for giving me at least. Now, Chingola, small-scale miners, what is our plan? I think we go right back. Even what is happening currently. Small-scale miners have not been left to the peril of the environment. This government has encouraged the Zambians to participate in the small-scale mining. What we have said is obtain a license. Find your own tenement. The license should be given And I said this on another forum, that there is no law. In fact, the law almost reserves the right of small-scale mining and artisanal mining to Zambians. We want as many of you to own mines. What we have said is we will not allow illegal mining. I'm not ashamed as a Zambian. I know one person will say, me, I've survived on illegal mining, I will not vote for her. Come on, you don't plan for illegality. No. Illegal mining, we have said no. And I'm sitting here, honestly, that I will not say, Luchi, that illegal mining will be allowed so that we win votes. Ema vote ya danger ya mulopa. Abana besu balefuira mu filongoma. Because of illegal mining and safe mining, one life is too precious to be lost. We have lost too many youths, including in Chingola. So that is not the style. Please, mwena chiwempala. Na tusange utuma maini. Tuasanga nangu ni cooperative if you can't do it alone. As a cooperative you have a right to get a license. And so many Zambians have gotten licenses, particularly in the gold mining. I know copper mining is a little tricky, but you can still do it. With partnership with those that have money, you can go into copper mining. So it's within our policy to empower small-scale miners, but we will not encourage illegality.
Okay.
We will not encourage unsafe mining.
Okay. Two last questions. Peter calls himself Grandpa PK in Chingola, makes the argument that your government made a mistake to employ supportive workers, i.e. teachers, nurses, soldiers, instead of enhancing agriculture, manufacturing industries, and mining. He goes on to say that small businesses like block making, retail shops, selling chickens, welding, barber shops, hair plaiting, carpentry must be reserved for Zambians. I don't know if there's a question in there. Grandpa PK.
Grandpa PK.
Yes.
Grandpa PK. Honestly, your priority is a little difficult to follow because you have said we made a mistake by employing teachers. But PK, mwalishi bati isukulu e backbone. If imulela ndanga takuli isukulu mukengisha bamayi na bamusangushani. Bakalefu makufyalo basa baba engineer. Bakalefu makufyalo baba metallist. No, please, Rapike. Education is the backbone of development. And you plan for the future. Not again today, just today. It was necessary that we prioritize education. We are not ashamed about it. Because this is empowering the human capital. The human capital is a very important ingredient in any development, in any manufacturing, in any mining. So I don't understand that you think we should have started with others. But we haven't left out anybody. How do you talk of mining? Is mining a government issue? Do you know that we have employed miners by reopening mines? That's how, job creation is a responsibility of government. Job creation by creating an enabling environment where industries grow. Yabantu abama business bakula, whether nibashimaini, whether wale chita manufacture, whether wale panga barber shop. You don't understand ifwe government. Na barber shop tulemu mona ifwe as an employer because tawomba moeka. So when we see this, that's why we ensure, for example, twachiranda pamalaiti kwa bati yabeko nawo engisheko babiri ulyoluka emishishi nawo engisheko babiri tale lyayeka mumaini twalingisha mwe bantu bakwale sabushe government yalikuwa tamaini ukuingisha ilo twaisula maini ba mungomba maini ilo twaisula ba mind and first quantum ilo twaleka maini yale twalilanga nga mopani KCM many other mines have opened enchitoshine isho tulesanga shishibe grandpa mukantumineko phone tukalande sana pantu na mfwako mwampesha amano balira po buteko bule ingisha elo bule panga environment ya kwati na bambi nabo bale ingisha limbinga shatufa question katuishi, otherwise it is you sounded strange, grandpa.
Okay, there's a question,
or grand PK, not grandpa.
There's a question here about supplementary budgets. I missed this earlier on, but somebody's asking why is it that you have had to go to parliament to ask for a supplementary budget every other year? Why is that? If you're being prudent, why are you still going to ask for a bit more money?
Thank you. Yeah. It is not just about being prudent. We have been prudent, and I think you can tell. You look at the auditor's reports and see it is not faultless. It's not flawless. There are still gaps because humans run this. But we don't have those glaring, abnormalities or indeed misapplication or proper theft. We have tried to close those gaps as we did that we close bleeding points for our economy and resources. Supplementary budgets are a necessity. It is done almost everywhere. Don't you ask how our friends keep talking about this budget there in Parliament? They need the budget for this. There are things that happen through the year. Let me give you an example. You have a budget in December approved to be implemented in January, and before end of January, cholera has hit you. I'm just giving an obvious to make it look normal. So you end up spending money that was planned for other things because you must tackle such. There are things unforeseen, and sometimes you also look at the income, because when you are budgeting, you look at the income, how much will come in. And yet, over time, the income also grows in areas you may not have fully anticipated. Then you need to come back to Parliament. This is not a government that will just spend at will. Government, Parliament must approve. That's why Congole for us is a law. We have in place a law that ensures that government cannot contract debt without Parliament approval. People's House must be aware that we need to do this and this and this more than we had planned because we have earned a little more. Or this has become necessary, we need to spend on this. That is supplementary. So I don't know what you mean. Human being is not God to fully see everything in totality and plan for it.
Okay.
Incidents happen that necessitate this.
Okay. I hope that answers the question. Just as we finish off.
You said you were finishing.
Yes, I'm done. I know you're busy. Yeah, you need to go elsewhere. This is the very last one. This is the very last one, I promise. Okay. So every time you come in, your former students, someone will send a text. And today is no different. So I want to read you this text message from one of your former students. It says, during my formative years, I was taught values of virtue under her tutelage, being our teacher of English in my 8th grade at Lubuto Secondary School in Ndola back in 1992. Ooh. It is such a rare privilege that she continues to inspire us in our aspirations to leave a better Zambia for children than we found. I can assure you she remains as energetic and passionate about Zambia as she was as our teacher and mother back then. She is one of virtue, not comfort. That her character, I have had personal first-hand experience. The school's motto was and still is service above self. To that effect, I still go back there every year in June.
Very humbling.
This is from somebody called Lucky. I'm not sure if you'd remember him, but it says he's one of your former teachers.
This is 92.
92, yes.
Not an easy task.
Yes.
And even if I met him, I'm sure he has grown into a man from
I can
the
confirm
boy.
He is much bigger.
But I appreciate that he has such fond memories. I am humbled. It's not an easy task to remember your time as a teacher. Because even as teachers, we offend many young people because at that moment, they don't know what you are looking for. But being a teacher, if you are a teacher out there, really you are a people person. We are so crazy as teachers. This is, maybe it encouraged me up to now. Because as a teacher, you are so passionate about seeing progress of your student. And I used to say that teachers don't knock off. Because you knock off, your mind is still thinking of these young people? What is happening to them? And when results are out, you don't know how personally, and I believe most teachers will go, how have they performed? How have they performed? We are so concerned. And maybe that's where the modeling of love for the people. If you said his name?
Lucky.
Lucky. If Lucky can remember that, I meant just that. I may have slapped you, unfortunate, but it was all out of love. And whatever I do for me as a human being is out of love for my neighbor. I have no capacity to hate. That's my problem.
I want to thank you for coming on the program. I know your team will be trying very hard to get you out of here, but there are a couple of things that some people would like to have a chat with you.